pass level 10.
Unit 47, we're on the way. As soon as we finish lunch. Too old, too tired, and too hungry to go chasing some hot rod. Look out! Whoa.
Now considered a cult classic in the sci-fi genre, The Fifth Element is one of those fun-to-watch movies that every nerd with their pocket protector knows. Director Luc Besson reportedly started working on the first draft of The Fifth Element when he was 16 years old. He developed and polished it over the years. In 1992, he began production on the 400-page script. Production was looking to be so expensive that Besson first abandoned the project to film Leon the Professional with Columbia Pictures. Besson's relationship with Columbia, plus shaving $10 million from the proposed $100 million budget, is what inevitably paved the way for production to resume in late 1995. The film is an exciting adventure following Corbin Dallas, played by Bruce Willis, exactly how he plays every other character. Dallas is a former Special Forces soldier who has moved on to lazily driving a taxicab in the 23rd century version of New York City. An ancient evil has awakened and making its way towards Earth, destroying everything in its path. Meanwhile, agents of evil search for the only thing that can stop it: magical stones and the mysterious fifth element. Lilu, portrayed by Milla Jovovich, is a mysterious traveler from the race of aliens who were meant to protect the mystical stones and the fifth element. She is now planted on Earth, struggling to understand her new surroundings.
Yan. Good.
Once she crosses paths with Dallas, they go on an epic adventure, as all great action movies do. In the end, they save the day. Shocker, I know. There is so much to take in. The Fifth Element warrants multiple viewings just to pick up on all the great touches. Once you get past the opening scene set in 1914 Egypt, you've launched into the fantastic future of 2263. Sure, it has similar characteristics to other films set in the future. Skyscrapers are too tall, cars fly, and corporate advertisements are absurdly displayed, but this movie does it with its own sexy, sleek style. You absorb the future without drowning in it. It strays away from the typical noir-inspired cyberpunk look and puts it front and center in bright light. This way, you can see everything. If any scene in the film was inspired by the cultural filmmaking of tools of the 90s, it's this scene. There is so much gun talk, all it needs is more absurd references to fall into Tarantino-ness.
Ever listen to K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s?
Zorg, played by Gary Oldman here, is selling the evil aliens an exciting and daring new prototype weapon, the ZF-1. At first looking like a giant caterpillar cocoon from Operation Desert Storm, the machine morphs into a beautiful butterfly of destruction. Basically, it's every gun in one. The scene plays with Zorg performing a personal commercial for the device, with such fantastic features as a bullet replay option, a rocket launcher, and a flamethrower.
My favorite.
In true action flick fun, the scene doesn't end the way either party intends, but the ending is entertaining. There are a dozen of interesting characters in The Fifth Element. It's a great ensemble that gels well without any one character overshadowing the other. It's got a blazing breakout role from Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, where he just eats up the scene.
What's wrong with you? What you screaming for? Every 5 minutes there's something, a bomb or something? I'm leaving.
But it also has a slightly disappointing role from Ullman, one of his very few less than amazing performances. Of course, Surrey and Holm play subtlety better than most, whether he is subtly secretive or subtly comical.
Have we arrived yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
This film manages to feature a lot of characters and great world-bending moments without a lot of exposition. One interesting thing about how the film is structured is that Corbin Dallas or Lilu never interact in any scene with Ullman Zorg. Somehow essentially telling two separate stories that are intrinsically intertwined is an impressive feat for a film of the 90s. In The Fifth Element, Besson understands the importance of levity while still telling an interesting story of good versus evil. It's basically cyberpunk Star Wars. The movie doesn't get bogged down in preaching anything but a good time, and that the good guys always do what's right. Dallas isn't Deckard but Han Solo. Zorg isn't conflicted, he's just evil. Even though it may show some things not suitable for small children will be able to get it. Also, it's funny, just plain funny.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Where did he learn to negotiate like that?
I wonder.
Overall, The Fifth Element is a fun watch, it's slightly over 2 hours. Just sit back and enjoy a cult classic. If you have seen the film, then let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest Cyberpunk videos where we tell you what you've got to see.